Glad the international break's over and you can get back to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and everyone's come back in good spirits. The only doubt we have is Olivier rolled his ankle yesterday in training, so we'll have to assess him today to see how he is. But the rest of them came back all right. El Hamid had a bit of a virus in between the two games, but he played in the second game, so he should be fine for tomorrow.
Are the players desperate to get back out there and kind of make amends for that game before the break?
Oh, it's a bit harsh to say make amends. It wasn't. Things just didn't go for us on the day. We didn't play particularly poorly. You know, the sending off obviously was something that came out of the blue, something that, you know, was totally out of character for Ryan, who's been outstanding, by the way. And then, you know, we conceded an early goal second half, and then we forced the issue. We were decent without really creating too many clear-cut chances. The second goal's, you know, an error from us. But over the piece, we've been brilliant. So we have to be very positive. Facts are it's 1 point out of the last 6, so that needs to be rectified, and we're hoping to do that tomorrow.
Chris Julian took to social media to apologise for his performance at Livingston. Is that something that you welcome the players doing? Or?
It's not necessary, you know. I didn't think he was that poor. He got a bit emotional in the game, and that's something he learned from, and it's good, you know. And obviously it shows how much it means to Chris. He's got leadership qualities, and it's good that it hurts him.
Is it just all about a learning experience for him as well?
Yeah, you know, British game up and at him, in your face, something he's probably not used to at times, and you have to be cold and take the emotion out of the game a little bit, but, you know, he's one of the least worries at the minute.
Philip, what did you make of the England-Bulgaria carry-on during the week with a view to Celtic playing Lazio over the next couple of weeks? I
just found it, you know, bitterly disappointing. I know that some of the stadium's going to get closed when we go to Rome, and that's a real shame, because it's a real glamour game for us, and one that we're all looking forward to, you know, visiting Rome and playing there against a great Italian side. So it's really sort of taking the sweetness away from it all. You know, the scenes in Bulgaria were absolutely disgraceful. It's obviously there are cultural differences, but when you're playing under the UEFA banner, you know, there's just no room for racism at all. Well, in any walk of life really, but certainly in our culture, we certainly abhor it. And yeah, it was very distressing scenes, but I thought the England players handled themselves brilliantly.
Any fears that your players could be targeted over and on?
Possibly. You know, we've had a few warnings about it before, but thankfully there's been none of that manifest itself so far.
Do you follow the UEFA protocol then, Neil, or do you ask your players to take the responsibility about what they would do? Would you consider walking off if it happened?
Well, it's a hypothetical question. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and obviously we'll be guided by the club and people behind the scenes before we, you know, take to the pitch really. So it'd be difficult to say what we would do in those circumstances.
Do you think it's a conversation you might have before in the lead up to the game, though? Do you think?
Well, I think, you know, the security forces will be involved in that. I'm sure we'll get, you know, the right guidance and advice from them.
Do you think it's on the rise again, Neil? Do you think it's come back round?
It's awful, you know. It's just rearing its ugly head quite a bit. It's embarrassing, I think. It's embarrassing for the individual countries and the individual associations and the people who run those associations as well. I mean, the scenes in Bulgaria, it looked like it was all premeditated as well, the way they were dressed and the way they were behaving. So how these guys get into the stadium in the first place is, you know, that needs to be looked at.
Are the sanctions tough enough, do you
think?
think?
No. What a fine and, you know, a game behind closed doors. I don't think that's working, because it's not going away.
Do you think at some point UEFA or the authorities might have to do what they did after the Heysel situation? I know it's totally different with crowd disorder, but they made an example of England and English teams. Do you think it might come to that?
Possibly. You know, that would be something that would hopefully deter this thing from happening. But then again, individual clubs get punished then, and associations. But if there's a malaise of this type, you know, seeping through the game, then it has to be eradicated.
Neil, how much of a miss is Ryan Christie going to be for you?
Well, I mean, he's been outstanding, you know. But you know, Tom Rodgick is up to speed. You know, hopefully we've got Incham as well. But like I say, he's a bit of a doubt. But Ryan, it would be a miss for any team the way he's been playing at the minute. So we just have to adjust accordingly.
Because he's been getting in there with the goals this season, hasn't he? So Tom presumably would have to step in immediately and step into that role.
Well, Tom's a creative type. You know, they're very similar. And we all know about his pedigree, and he's had his, you know, injury layoff now, and he's come back and he's in great condition. And I think he would jump at the chance to play if selected. So it's great having that luxury, really, where you lose a quality player and you might have the chance of bringing another quality one in.
So taking that into account, you've got Ross County and obviously Lazio. Does that mean you might have to juggle the squad about to keep people in cotton wool, for example, for a bigger European match?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, like, we play Saturday and then the European game's not the Thursday, so, you know, that's plenty of time, you know, and the players want to play. And Lazio's a huge game for us in the context of the group as well, so, you know, we want to probably be strong as possible.
Have you spoke to Ryan during the break at all about sending off?
Briefly, and no one was more sort of agitated or upset about it than him himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about abuse he took on social media and whatnot.
Oh, really? Aye.
Yeah, is he okay with that?
He's fine, yeah, he's fine. Again, this is a malaise that we have to sort of put up with. For me, again, I've touched on it many times, I don't know how much benefit it brings to the players anymore. So, and there's no accountability or responsibility to these people who can mask themselves up as Celtic fans or any other type of fan, really.
Nicky Hammond's been appointed full-time. How good is that for you in terms of what you do going forward now with preparations for, say, January and further afield? Well,
it gives me great comfort and gives the club here great stability. I've got a very experienced guy who's worked in that role for a long time, and I've been working with him the last 3 or 4 months now, and his work's been outstanding. So he's got a lot of work to do in terms of restructuring the department and some of the other departments as well, but he'll be a great crutch for me going forward.
You've just gone back to what happened to the England game. Nil by Mouth came out and said that they think that the 3-step protocol could be possibly implemented here to stop sectarianism. Do you think that's something that could happen, or would it work?
Well, is it working for racism? Is it? You know, will it work for sectarian? Look at anything that can quell it, you know, within sort of reason would appeal to me.
You've experienced this yourself, being targeted, being threatened. How difficult is it to maintain a focus on football when these circumstances are occurring?
Sometimes football's your way out. You know, your joy, your sort of light. And it's one thing that, you know, without football, you know, it would have been extremely difficult, you know, to go through that. But then I suppose with football brings that to your life, I suppose, like, you know, in this environment. But certainly the football was a great sort of motivation from taking your mind away from it and just concentrating on doing what you enjoy.
So walking off a pitch is a double-edged sword. On one hand it makes a point, on the other hand it deprives you of your joy.
I would not discourage any player from walking off a pitch if he's getting racially abused. I think I would encourage it, because at the end of the day it's pointing out there's a wrong here, and we all have to do a little bit more to prevent it. And for the individuals, it's personal and it's very, very hurtful. Very hurtful.
Have you had any experience of that whilst in Scotland?
Of a player walking off the pitch?
No, racist abuse towards one of your players, you've had to speak to him about it or anything along those lines?
No, not yet. I hope that continues that way.
Gary Dembele syndicated he wants to play for England rather than Scotland. Is that a decision he's let you know about?
No, he hasn't, no. So that's news to me.
Neil, the club got fined again for the fireworks during the week. What's your message to people involved in doing things like that?
Stop it. we've enough colour, we've enough atmosphere, we've enough noise in the stadium. Again, it's we got fined again, so it's not doing the club any good. And like I said, I don't really see the attraction of pyrotechnics in the stadium rather than being dangerous. Yeah, they bring a bit of light or a bit of flair to the place, but there's plenty in Celtic Park for that already.